Hana Kim sat on the edge of her small bed, watching the twin suns of Kepler 442b rise over New Sol Colony. The orange and yellow light painted everything in warm colors through her window. She rubbed her eyes and tried to forget the dream that had woken her up again. The tiger was back. Every night for the past 3 years, the same massive white tiger visited her dreams. It spoke to her in a voice that felt like distant thunder. The tiger told her things about stars and space and warnings, about darkness coming from far away. Most people would think she was crazy. Most people already did. "Hana, breakfast is ready," called Dr. June Park from the kitchen. He was not her real father, but he had taken care of her since she was 12. Her parents died in a mining accident on the Outer Rim. Dr. Park was the only person who did not think she was completely insane. She walked to the small kitchen of their apartment in Sector 7. This was not the nice part of New Sol Colony. The buildings were old, and the walls were thin. You could hear your neighbors fighting or crying or laughing at all hours. But it was home. Dr. Park was making rice and eggs. He was a tall man with kind eyes behind thick glasses. He worked as a researcher studying alien life forms that the colony ships had found on different planets. Most of the aliens were just simple creatures like space fish or rock-eating worms. Nothing too exciting. "Bad dreams again?" he asked, not looking up from the stove. "The tiger was upset last night," Hana said. She sat down at their small table. "It kept talking about something coming, something dark that eats whole worlds." Dr. Park stopped stirring the eggs. He turned to look at her. "What exactly did it say?" Hana closed her eyes and tried to remember. "It said the devourers are moving toward our part of space. They follow the light of young civilizations. They consume everything and leave nothing behind." "Devourers," Dr. Park repeated slowly. He sat down across from her and pushed his glasses up his nose. "Hana, I need to tell you something. Yesterday I ran some tests on the brain scans we took last month." Hana felt her stomach tighten. More tests. More proof that she was different. More reasons for people to stare at her and whisper. "Your brain patterns," Dr. Park continued, "they match something we have been detecting in deep space for the past 6 months. Energy signatures coming from beyond our solar system." The room felt very quiet. Outside, she could hear the morning traffic of people going to work in the factories and farms. "What does that mean?" she asked. "I think your dreams might not be dreams at all." Before Hana could ask more questions, there was a loud knock on their door. Dr. Park looked surprised. They did not get many visitors, especially not this early in the morning. The door opened and 3 people in Colonial Defense Force uniforms walked in. The leader was a woman with short black hair and cold eyes. Behind her were 2 men, one young and one older. "Dr. Park, I am Captain Minho Lee," said the older man. "We need to talk to you and the girl about some unusual readings our sensors have been picking up." Hana felt scared. The Colonial Defense Force only showed up when there was trouble, big trouble. "What kind of readings?" Dr. Park asked. He moved to stand between Hana and the officers. "The kind that matched the brain patterns you sent to the Research Council last week," the woman said. Her name tag read, Commander Yuna Choi. "The kind that suggest your ward here might be in contact with something from outside our system." Hana's hands started shaking. She had always been afraid that someone would find out about her dreams and take her away. Now it was happening. "Hana is just a girl with an active imagination," Dr. Park said firmly. "Her parents died and she has been through trauma. Sometimes children create fantasy worlds to cope." Captain Lee pulled out a small device that beeped and flashed with lights. He held it near Hana and the beeping got faster and louder. "This device detects psionic energy," he said. "It is going crazy right now. Miss Kim, we know you have been having dreams about things in space. We need you to tell us everything." Hana looked at Dr. Park. He nodded slowly. "There is a tiger," she said quietly. "A huge white tiger that talks to me. It lives somewhere far away among the stars. It has been watching our planet for a long time." "What does it tell you?" Commander Choi asked. She sat down at the table and her voice became softer. It tells me that its people used to protect younger species like humans. But most of them are dead now. The tiger is one of the last ones left. It chose me because humans are different from other species they have watched. Different how? Hana tried to find the right words. It says humans do not give up, even when everything seems hopeless. It says we are unpredictable and that makes us dangerous to our enemies. Captain Lee and Commander Choi looked at each other. Miss Kim, Captain Lee said, 3 days ago, our long-range sensors detected large objects moving toward our system. They are not natural. They are ships, but unlike any design we have ever seen. If your tiger friend knows about threats from space, we need to know everything it has told you. Hana's heart was beating fast. The dreams were real. The tiger was real, and something terrible was coming toward their home. The tiger's name is Bayek, she said. It told me the devourers have found us. They are coming in ships that heal themselves when you shoot them. They will try to turn our world into a dead place. The room was silent for a long moment. Commander Choi stood up. Miss Kim, how would you feel about helping your colony survive what is coming? Hana looked out the window at the twin suns rising over New Seoul Colony. Somewhere out there in the darkness between stars, something evil was moving toward everything she cared about. Her dreams had prepared her for this moment her whole life. I will do whatever it takes, she said. The war for humanity's future was about to begin, and it would start with a girl who talked to tigers in her dreams. 3 weeks had passed since the Colonial Defense Force took Hana to their main headquarters in the center of New Seoul Colony. The building was tall and made of metal and glass, very different from her old home in Sector 7. Dr. Park came with her and now worked with the military scientists trying to understand her connection to the tiger. Hana sat in a white room filled with machines that beeped and flashed. Wires were attached to her head measuring her brain activity. Admiral Yuna Choi watched from behind a thick glass window. Next to her stood a man Hana had not met before. This is Commander Tae Wong, Admiral Choi had said earlier. He is our best pilot and leads our elite squadron. He thinks your dreams are just stress from losing your parents. Commander Wong was young with suspicious eyes. He did not believe in things he could not see or touch. Hana could tell he thought she was wasting everyone's time. Can you try to contact the tiger now? Dr. Park asked through the speaker system. Hana closed her eyes and tried to quiet her mind. It was harder during the day. The tiger usually came to her when she was sleeping. But over the past few weeks, she had learned to reach out while awake. The room around her faded away. She found herself standing on a platform made of crystal that floated in space. Stars surrounded her in all directions. This was where she always met Bayek. The massive white tiger appeared in front of her. Its fur seemed to glow with inner light, and its eyes were like blue stars. When it spoke, the words formed in her mind rather than her ears. Little guardian, Bayek said, the time of preparation grows short. The devourers have entered your outer system. The military wants to know more about them, Hana said. They want to know how to fight. Bayek's expression grew sad. We are called the Guardians. For millions of years we have watched over younger species as they grow and learn. We have protected many worlds from the devourers. But you can help us fight them, right? Child, we are dying. Once there were thousands of us spread across the galaxy. Now only a few dozen remain. We no longer have the strength to face the devourers in battle. Hana felt fear crawl up her spine. Then why did you contact me? If you cannot help us, why give us hope? The tiger moved closer. Its presence felt warm and safe, like being wrapped in a blanket during a storm. Because humans are different, Bayek said. In all our years of watching species grow, we have never seen anything like your kind. You do not accept defeat. When faced with impossible odds, you become more dangerous, not less. I do not understand. The devourers are perfect hunters. They learn from every battle. They adapt to every weapon used against them. They have consumed 43 civilizations because those species fought them in predictable ways. Bayek showed her images that appeared in the space around them. Beautiful worlds with different alien cities and creatures. Then the same worlds after the devourers came. Empty, gray, lifeless. But humans, The tiger continued. You are chaotic. You are unpredictable. You fight with emotion and instinct, not just logic. This confuses the devourers. They cannot adapt to strategies that make no sense. So you want us to fight them? I want to give you the choice. My people have ships hidden throughout your system. Ancient vessels that have slept for thousands of years. They are powered by will and thought, not just technology. But they need pilots who can think in ways the devourers cannot predict. The crystal platform started to fade. Hana could hear Dr. Park calling her name from far away. Wait, she said to Bayek. How many ships are coming? The tiger's eyes grew dark. 47 bio-ships. Each one carries millions of parasitic organisms. They will try to land on your world and build hive nodes. Once established, they will consume everything. Plants, animals, people, even the air and water. The vision ended and Hana opened her eyes back in the white room. The machines were beeping loudly and the scientists looked excited. What did you see? Admiral Choi asked as she entered the room. Hana told them everything. About the Guardian, ships hidden in their system. About the 47 enemy vessels approaching. About the devourers being perfect adapters who could be confused by human unpredictability. Commander Wong shook his head. This is insane. We are supposed to trust our lives to some teenager's dreams about space tigers? Sir? Dr. Park interrupted, holding up a tablet computer. Long-range sensors just confirmed it. 47 large objects have entered the outer system. They are definitely artificial, and they are heading straight for us. The room became very quiet. Everyone stared at the tablet screen showing dots of light moving toward their world. Admiral Choi looked at Hana with new respect. Miss Kim, can you ask your tiger friend to show us these Guardian ships? Hana nodded and closed her eyes again. This time, contacting Bayek was easier. The urgency of the situation seemed to strengthen their connection. They want to see the ships, she told the tiger. Then it is time, Beck replied. Tell them to look toward the asteroid belt between your 4th and 5th planets. I will awaken 3 vessels as a demonstration. When Hana opened her eyes and shared the message, Admiral Choi immediately called the observation deck. Point all telescopes toward the asteroid belt, coordinates 445 by 223, she ordered. 5 minutes later, a technician's voice came over the speaker, filled with amazement. Admiral, you need to see this. 3 objects just lit up in the asteroid field. They are massive and they are definitely not asteroids. On the main screen, 3 ships appeared. They were beautiful and strange, shaped like enormous flowers made of crystal and metal. They glowed with the same light Hana had seen around Beck. Commander Wong stared at the screen, his skepticism cracking. How big are they? Each one is about 2 kilometers long, the technician reported. Admiral Choi turned to Hana. Miss Kim, it appears your dreams are more real than any of us imagined. Can you ask Bayek how we access these ships? Hana felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. Her entire colony, maybe all of humanity, was depending on her connection to an alien tiger from her dreams. I will ask him, she said. But Admiral, we need to hurry. The devourers will be here soon, and when they arrive, everything will change. Outside, the headquarters building, people went about their normal lives not knowing that their survival depended on a girl who talked to tigers and ancient ships hidden among the stars. The emergency sirens wailed across New Sol Colony as Hana stood on the observation deck of the Defense Force headquarters. Through the massive windows, she could see people running in the streets below. News of the approaching alien fleet had spread quickly and panic was setting in. The first Guardian ship will arrive in 20 minutes, Admiral Choi announced to the crowded command center. All civilian transports are ready for evacuation to the underground shelters. Hana pressed, her hand against the cool glass, and closed her eyes. She could feel Bayek somewhere out there among the stars, getting closer with each passing moment. The connection between them had grown stronger over the past 2 days. I can sense him, she told Dr. Park, who stood beside her. He is scared. The tiger is scared? Commander Wong asked from behind them. His voice carried doubt, but less than before. Seeing the Guardian ships appear in the asteroid belt had changed his mind about many things. Not for himself, Hana explained. He is scared for us. His people failed to save so many other worlds. He does not want to fail again. The command center fell quiet except for the soft beeping of monitoring equipment. Everyone was watching. The main screen that showed the space around their planet. 3 Guardian ships were already in orbit, their crystal surfaces glowing like captured starlight. Contact from the outer system, a technician called out. The Devourer fleet has been detected crossing the orbit of our 7th planet. Estimated arrival time is 6 hours. Admiral Choi's face remained calm, but Hana could see the tension in her shoulders. How many ships? 47 confirmed, just as the girl predicted. They are unlike anything in our databases. The ships appear to be grown rather than built. Suddenly, the air in the command center began to shimmer. A low humming sound filled the room, making everyone's teeth ache. The lights flickered and several computers sparked. What is happening? Dr. Park asked, grabbing Hana's arm. Before anyone could answer, the space in the center of the room began to fold in on itself. Reality twisted like water going down a drain. Then with a sound like distant thunder, Bake appeared. The massive white tiger stood 8 feet tall at the shoulder. Its fur glowed with inner light, and its blue eyes held the wisdom of millions of years. Several soldiers reached for their weapons, but Admiral Choi raised her hand to stop them. Nobody move, she ordered quietly. Beck looked around the room with sad, ancient eyes. When its gaze fell on Hana, she felt a wave of warmth and recognition. Little Guardian, the tiger spoke, its voice echoing in everyone's minds. The time of testing has come. Commander Wong stepped forward, his hand still resting on his sidearm. You are the entity that has been contacting Hana. I am Bayek, last guardian of the 3rd spiral. I have watched your species for 3 of your centuries. You fascinate and terrify us in equal measure. Terrify? Admiral Choi asked. The great tiger turned to her. You are a young species, barely past your first steps into space. Yet you have already achieved things that took other races millennia to accomplish. Your creativity, your refusal to accept limitations, your willingness to sacrifice for others, these traits make you dangerous to those who would harm you. Dr. Park cleared his throat nervously. Can you help us fight the Devourers? Beck's expression grew heavy with sorrow. My people are few and weak. We have fought these parasites for eons, but we have grown tired and predictable. The Devourers adapt to our strategies faster than we can create new ones. The tiger moved to the large windows overlooking the colony. But you humans fight differently. You use emotion where logic fails. You take impossible risks. You refuse to surrender even when defeat seems certain. So you want us to pilot your ships? Commander Wong asked. Not pilot. Bond with them. The Guardian vessels are not machines. They are living extensions of will and thought. They respond to the pilot's mind and spirit. Most species cannot handle the connection. It overwhelms them. Hana stepped forward. But humans can. Beck turned its starlight eyes on her. Your minds are chaotic in ways that make you strong. Where other species see madness, I see potential. Where they see weakness, I see adaptability. The tiger moved to the center of the room again. With a gesture of its massive paw, holographic images filled the air around them. The images showed the history of the Devourers, world after world consumed and left dead. Each of these civilizations fought bravely, Beck explained. The Zephyrians used perfect battle formations. The Crystalline Collective employed flawless mathematical strategies. The Hive Singers coordinated their thoughts into perfect harmony. The images showed beautiful alien cities turning gray and lifeless as the Devourer ships landed. All of them failed because they fought predictably. The Devourers learned their patterns and adapted faster than they could change. And you think we will be different? Admiral Choi asked. I know you will be. I have watched your species wage war against itself for centuries. You never fight the same way twice. You improvise, you innovate, you succeed through sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Commander Wong was studying the holographic images carefully. How do we access your ships? 3 volunteers must come with me now. The bonding process. takes time and the Devourer fleet approaches quickly. I must warn you, not everyone who attempts the bond survives. The connection can destroy minds that are not ready. The command center fell silent. Everyone looked at each other, weighing the risks. I will go, Hana said immediately. Absolutely not, Dr. Park protested. You are just a child. I am the one who has been talking to Beck for years. I am already connected to him. It makes sense for me to try. Admiral Choi stepped forward. I will volunteer as well. Commander Wong straightened his shoulders. And I will be the third. Baek studied each of them with its ancient gaze. You understand that you may not survive the bonding? We understand, Admiral Choi replied. If we do nothing, we will definitely not survive the Devourers. The Great Tiger nodded slowly. Then we must go now. Time grows short, and there is much you must learn before the battle begins. As Beck prepared to transport them to the Guardian ships, alarms began blaring throughout the command center. Admiral, a technician called out urgently. The Devourer fleet just accelerated. They will arrive in 2 hours, not 6. Hana felt her heart racing as she looked up at Baek. The tiger's expression had grown grim. The Devourers sensed the awakening. Of Guardian ships, Beck explained. They know they face something different this time. They come quickly, hoping to destroy you before you can adapt to their weapons. Admiral Choi turned to the command staff. Begin immediate evacuation of all non-essential personnel. Prepare our defensive fleet for battle. As the room filled with urgent activity, Hana realized that her quiet life in Sector 7 was truly over. In the next few hours, she would either help save humanity or die trying. The war was about to begin. Hana floated inside the Guardian ship, her body surrounded by warm, glowing crystal that pulsed with her heartbeat. The bonding process had been unlike anything she could have imagined. The ship's consciousness had flowed into her mind like liquid, light, and now she could feel its ancient memories mixing with her own thoughts. Through the ship's senses, she could see space around New Sol Colony. The 3 Guardian vessels hung in orbit like enormous crystal flowers, their surfaces reflecting the light of the twin suns. Below them, the Colonial Defense Fleet had formed a defensive line, 50 human ships that looked tiny compared to what was coming. Hana, can you hear me? Admiral Choi's voice came through the ship's communication system. The Admiral was bonded with the 2nd Guardian vessel, while Commander Wong controlled the 3rd. I can hear you, Hana replied. I can hear everyone. That was the strangest part of the bonding. She could sense the thoughts and emotions of every human pilot in the fleet. Their fear, their determination, their love for the world they were defending. It all flowed through her like a river of feeling. The Devourers are here, Commander Wong reported grimly. Through her ship's sensors, Hana saw them emerging from the darkness between stars. The 47 bioships were horrible to look at. They were not built like human vessels with clean lines and metal hulls. Instead, they looked like enormous insects or diseased organs floating in space. Their surfaces were wet and dark, covered in what looked like scales or chitin. By the stars, whispered one of the human pilots. What are those things? Beck's voice filled all their minds at once. The Devourers grow their ships from the remains of conquered worlds. Each vessel carries the compressed life force of an entire planet. The enemy fleet spread out as it approached, moving with predatory grace. The largest bioship was 3 times the size of any Guardian vessel, pulsing with sickly green light. All ships, prepare for engagement, Admiral Choi ordered. Remember what Baek taught us. Do not fight in formation. Do not follow standard tactics. Be unpredictable. The first shots came from the human fleet. Missiles and laser beams streaked across space toward the approaching bioships. For a moment, Hana felt hope as several weapons found their targets. But the bioships began to change. Where the missiles hit, the organic hulls rippled and reformed. The laser burns healed over in seconds. Within minutes, the Devourers had adapted to make the human weapons almost useless. This is not working, Commander Wong said. They are learning too fast. Then it is time to show them something they cannot learn, Beck replied. The Great Tiger's consciousness touched Hana's mind. Suddenly, she understood what the Guardian ship wanted her to do. The vessel was not just a weapon, it was an extension of her will made real. Hana stopped thinking like a pilot and started thinking like herself. She remembered being a scared child in Sector 7, using her imagination to escape from loneliness and fear. She remembered the dreams that everyone said were impossible. The Guardian ship responded to her thoughts and began to change. Its crystal hull flowed like water, reshaping itself into something that had never existed before. Part flower, part bird, part pure light. "What are you doing?" Admiral Choi asked in amazement. "Something the Devourers will not expect," Hana replied. She dove toward the enemy fleet not in a straight line like a normal attack, but spinning and dancing through space like a leaf in the wind. The bioships turned their weapons toward her, but she was already somewhere else by the time they fired. Admiral Choi and Commander Wong watched for a moment, then began to understand. They stopped flying their ships like military vessels and started flying them like extensions of their own personalities. Admiral Choi's ship became sleek and dangerous, striking like a sword and vanishing before the enemy could respond. Commander Wong's vessel turned into something that seemed to break the laws of physics, appearing in 3 places at once and attacking from impossible angles. The Devourers tried to adapt, but how do you adapt to strategies that make no sense? How do you counter attacks that should be impossible? "All human pilots," Hana broadcast to the fleet, "stop fighting like soldiers. Fight like humans." The message spread through the human ships like fire. Pilots who had trained for years in formation flying suddenly broke apart and began improvising. Some flew in spirals that made the enemy dizzy. Others pretended to retreat, then attacked from behind. A few brave souls actually rammed their small fighters into the bioship's weapon ports, sacrificing themselves to disable the enemy guns. The Devourers were confused. Their perfect adaptation was failing because there was nothing consistent to adapt to. Every human pilot fought differently, changed tactics constantly, and did things that seemed completely insane. But the enemy had numbers. For every bioship the humans destroyed, 2 more pressed forward. Several human vessels were caught by Devourer weapons and dissolved into component atoms. "We are losing too many ships," Admiral Choi reported. "We need a new strategy." Hana felt the weight of every human life lost in the battle. Through her connection to the fleet, she could sense families on the planet below watching the battle in the sky, praying for their defenders. Then she had an idea that was so crazy, it might actually work. "Beck," she called out, "can you network all the human pilots together through the Guardian ships?" "It is possible," the Tiger replied, "but dangerous. Linking so many minds could destroy them all, or it could make us stronger. Humans work best when we work together." Admiral Choi understood immediately. "Do it. Link us all." Beck's power flowed through the 3 Guardian ships and touched every human pilot in the fleet. Suddenly, Hana could feel 50 different minds joining with hers. The sensation was overwhelming at first, so many thoughts and emotions crashing together. But then something beautiful happened. The chaos settled into harmony. Each pilot kept their individuality but shared their knowledge and instincts with everyone else. They became like a school of fish, moving as one organism while each fish remained free. The tide of battle began to turn. The human fleet fought with perfect coordination while maintaining complete unpredictability. They shared information instantly, covered each other's weaknesses, and struck with unified purpose. The Devourers found themselves facing something they had never encountered, a species that became more dangerous when threatened, more creative under pressure, and stronger when united. "Impossible," came a cold voice from the largest bioship. It was the first time any Devourer had spoken during the battle. "You should have adapted to our strategies by now." Hana laughed, and her laughter was echoed by 50 other pilots. "We do not adapt to you," she replied. "We make you adapt to us." The final phase of the battle was about to begin. The networked human fleet moved like a living thing through space, 50 minds working as one while each pilot remained uniquely themselves. Hana could feel every thought, every emotion, every desperate hope flowing through the connection. It was overwhelming and beautiful at the same time. The Devourers were retreating toward the edge of the system, their bioships wounded and confused. For the first time in millions of years, they faced an enemy they could not understand or adapt to. "They are trying to escape," Commander Wong reported. His Guardian ship pursued 3 fleeing bioships, striking them with weapons that changed form every few seconds. "Let them go," Admiral Choi ordered. "We have won." But Hana felt something wrong through her connection to Bayek. The great tiger's consciousness was troubled, filled with ancient memories of other battles, other worlds. "No," she said quietly. "If we let them escape, they will just find another world to attack. They will learn from this battle and be ready for us next time." Through the network, she shared Bayek's memories with all the human pilots. They saw world after world consumed by the Devourers. Beautiful civilizations reduced to gray ash because the enemy was allowed to retreat and adapt. "What are you suggesting?" Admiral Choi asked. Hana looked through her ship's sensors at the largest bioship, the one that had spoken during the battle. It was trying to open a portal to escape into deep space. "Beck told me the Devourers are controlled by a central mind. If we destroy that mind, all of them die. And how do we do that? I have to go inside their command ship." The entire networked fleet felt her determination and her fear. Through their shared connection, every pilot understood what she was planning. "That is suicide." Dr. Park's voice came through the communication system. He was monitoring the battle from the surface. "Hana, you cannot do this." "Someone has to," she replied. "The Devourers have consumed 43 civilizations. If we do not stop them here, they will never stop." Beck's presence filled her mind with warmth and sadness. "Little Guardian, the connection required to destroy their central mind will burn out your own consciousness. You will not survive." Hana felt tears floating in the zero gravity around her face. Through the network, she could sense the love and concern of every human pilot, the desperate prayers of the people on the planet below, the weight of responsibility for all future worlds the Devourers might attack. "I know," she said simply. "Admiral." Choi's voice was gentle but firm. "Hana, you are just a girl. This should not be your burden to carry. But it is mine. I was the one who could talk to Beck. I was the one who brought the Guardians and humans together. This is what I was meant to do." Through the network, she felt something unexpected. Every single human pilot was volunteering to take her place. 50 different voices offering to sacrifice themselves so she could live. "No," she told them all. "You have families, futures, lives to live. I am already connected to the Guardian network in ways you are not. I have the best chance of success." Before anyone could stop her, Hana guided her ship toward the massive Devourer command vessel. The bioship's surface was covered in writhing tentacles and pulsing organs. It looked like a nightmare made real. "All ships, cover her approach," Admiral Choi ordered. The human fleet formed a protective formation around Hana's Guardian ship, fighting off smaller bioships that tried to intercept her. The Devourers seemed to understand what she was attempting, and fought desperately to stop her. Hana's ship phased through the hull of the command vessel, like light passing through water. Inside, she found herself in a space that hurt to look at. The walls were alive, covered in neural tissue that pulsed with sick light. At the center was a massive brain, bigger than her entire ship, connected to thousands of writhing cables. "So," a voice filled her mind, cold and hungry. "A child comes to face the eternal hunger. You cannot comprehend what you are attempting to destroy." "I do not need to comprehend it," Hana replied. "I just need to stop it." She opened her mind fully to the Guardian network, letting Beck's ancient power flow through her. The connection was so intense that she could feel her human consciousness beginning to dissolve. Through Bayek, she touched the minds of every Guardian who had ever lived. Millions of ancient beings who had dedicated their existence to protecting younger species. She felt their accumulated wisdom, their love, their determination to never let another world fall to the Devourers. "Impossible!" the Devourer mind screamed as Guardian power flooded through its neural networks. "We are eternal. We are hunger itself." "You are parasites," Hana replied, her voice now carrying the weight of eons. "And every parasite can be destroyed." "You so?" Massive brain began to convulse as Guardian energy tore through its connections. Throughout the fleet, every bioship suddenly stopped moving as their controlling intelligence died. But the effort was destroying Hana. She could feel her individual thoughts scattering like leaves in a hurricane. The boundary between herself and the Guardian network was disappearing. "Hold on, little Guardian," Beck's voice whispered in her fading consciousness. "You have done something impossible. You have saved not just your world, but countless others." As Hana's human mind dissolved, something unexpected happened. Instead of dying, she found herself becoming something new. Her consciousness merged with the Guardian network, but instead of being absorbed, she transformed it. The ancient Guardians had been wise but predictable. Hana brought human chaos, creativity, and stubborn hope to their collective. She became the bridge between two species, carrying the best of both. When she opened her eyes, she was floating in space outside the dying Devourer ship. But she was no longer entirely human. Her body glowed with Guardian light, and her mind touched every corner of the galaxy. Around her, the bioships were crumbling into dust. The Devourer fleet that had threatened New Sol Colony was gone forever. "Hana," Dr. Park's voice came through the communication system, filled with wonder and tears. "Are you all right?" She looked down at the planet where she had grown up, seeing it with eyes that could now perceive across light years of space. She could sense other worlds, other species, other threats that would need the protection of Guardians. "I am different now," she said gently. "But I am still me, and I have work to do." Beck appeared beside her in space, the great tiger now her equal and partner rather than her teacher. "The galaxy is vast," he said. "There are many worlds that need protection." Hana smiled, feeling the weight and joy of her new purpose. She was no longer just a girl from Sector 7 who talked to tigers in dreams. She was the first human guardian, protector of all life in the galaxy. "Then we better get started," she said. Behind them, New Sol Colony celebrated their impossible victory. Ahead of them lay an infinite universe full of worlds that would never know how close they had come to destruction, saved by a girl who refused to let hope die. The age of human guardians had begun,